Prehistoric gas. Theo Sonborn left Marty outside the door in Lab 9, where Roy was standing guarding disguised as a research scientist. The bulge of his pistol under the white lab coat was a dead giveaway. The kid can go in, Roy said to Theo, but you can't. Belligerent Theo puffed out his chest. Oh yeah? Who says? I say, Roy answered. And who are you? I'm a guy over a foot taller than you. Roy opened his lab coat with a gun. Very subtle, Marty thought, and mature. Big deal, Theo said. Ted took his idiot Theo rule seriously, but Marty thought he was pushing it a little too far with Roy. Go on, Theo, Marty said. I'm just going into the lab to check in on Grace and Luther and see what they're cooking up. Yeah, okay, Theo said. I got things to do, but try to get some sleep tonight. You and me are going fishing at dawn 30 tomorrow. Marty and Roy watched him stagger down the hall. What's going on? Marty asked. I guess someone's trying to kill you and kidnap your cousins, so now you're under 24-hour security watch. Where'd you come from? From the moon pool? And they let that moron escort you up here? Roy said. You'd be safer by yourself. He's tougher than he looks, Marty said, and smarter. Whatever, Roy said. What's his name? Marty stopped himself. Theo Sonborn. Roy took a 3x5 card out of his pocket and read it. He isn't on the safe list. Who said he could bring you up from the moon pool? I don't know, Marty answered. Wolf, I guess. I'm going to have to call Al on this. It's a breach of security. Fine. While you're taking care of that, can I breeze by you and go inside? Yeah, you're on the clear list for Lab 9. Thank goodness, Marty said. Marty stepped into the clean room, showered, and put on a set of disposable scrubs. The nursery was crowded with Grace, Luther, Laurel, and 2 hungry dinosaurs. The hatchlings were gulping down fist-sized hunks of raw meat as fast as Luther and Laurel could get them into their snapping mouths. Bertha was there, too. She was standing in the corner in extra large scrubs, cradling a 12-gauge shotgun, clipped to her belt with a military radio like the one Al and his men carried. And she had a throat mic around her neck and an earpiece stuck in her ear. Marty wondered how she managed to disinfect the weapon and the radio. The lab reeked. What does that smell? Marty asked, trying to gag into his disposable mask. Dinosaur poop, Luther said with a ball of meat in his hand. And don't worry, you won't get used to the smell. At least it's clear now why dinosaurs went extinct and what that term comes from. It must be a derivative of the word stink. The dinosaurs gassed themselves to death, guaranteed. Extinct does not come from the word stink, Grace said. Well, it should have, Luther said, holding up the lump of meat to one. This is what they mean by greenhouse gas. Snap. The meat disappeared down one's long neck. Geez, that was close, Luther said, checking to see if he still had all of his fingers. Are you all right, Marty? Grace asked with concern, ignoring Luther. She was holding a clipboard, presumably trying to keep track of the amount of meat going into the hatchling's gaping purple maws. Wolf told me what happened to you on deck. Up on deck. The deck was fine, Marty said. Being flipped over the rail was the problem. Luther went over to grab another handful of meat. I hear it was old Butch McCall that tried to give you the heave-ho. That you will make a good panel in your next graphic novel. Wrong hemisphere, Marty said. Different story. Butch isn't here. He's the one who pushed you, Bertha said. Butch is on the colon call. Snap. Not anymore, Luther said. Bertha just got word that he and another guy did their own header over the side and stroked out to Grandpa's yacht. We think there were 2 of them, Bertha clarified, and we think that one of them was Butch, but he might still be on board, which is why Roy is at the door and I'm armed. She proceeded to summarize everything that had happened in the past few hours with a half dozen crystal-clear sentences that only an ex-army general could compose. Snap, snap. So where the heck have you been? Luther asked Marty. Co-piloting a nuclear sub? Marty answered, right. Snap. Marty had not seen the hatchlings since he'd been banished to the galley. They looked like they had doubled in size, and they've been moved out of the incubator to a makeshift cage on the floor of the lab. Snap, snap. I think they're done, Luther said, wiping his bloody gloves on his scrubs. Get ready. Get ready for what? Marty asked. Everyone but Marty had already backed away from the cage and was covering their masks with both hands, including Bertha, who had set her shotgun down. Oh, Marty said, staggering behind. Goes through them as fast as it goes into them, Luther said. We need gas masks, Marty gagged. These disposable surgical masks are worthless. When the hatchlings finished their business, which seemed to take an impossibly long time, they plopped down and promptly fell asleep. Laura turned the exhaust fan to full blast, which had little effect. If Ted had really wanted to test me, he should have left me in the nursery, Marty thought. When we write our next graphic novel, it's going to be hard to illustrate the olfactory sensation, Luther said. Maybe we can put in a scratch and sniff panel, Marty suggested. Yeah, Luther said, but what do you put under the scratch? There's nothing in nature that smells like that, at least not anymore.